like, why would you trust this fucking maniac to come in with you? Like, why can't he just be a friend?
Yeah.
Like, he works for the mob. You know, this whole thing does not seem to be feasible for what you guys have in store, or what's intended,
Yeah.
you know, here. He's just as bad as anybody else, really. Like, why wouldn't you kill Rocco? You know,
It's a good point.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that in terms of their moral code. Like, why don't they?
Yeah.
Why do they have? Because he's funny. I mean,
Yeah.
is that the
like,
the
why
life-saving
would you
thinking?
kill? And I know we'll get to this scene, but why would you kill just two guys whacking off in a nudie booth? Like, what if that's just two
That-
guys? Yeah. Like,
Those scenes that make you care about the two guys whacking off in the nudie bar
Yeah.
were cut.
okay.
One, both of them were seen in an original cut. One was at when the brothers were at the hospital. I think a pimp is beating on a woman,
Right.
and the drug dealer is referenced at some point. I'm not sure. So those, I thought that there were two scenes that are obviously cut, and I thought that was very strange. It was this one where it's like, what the fuck, leave these guys alone.
Yeah.
And it's the final scene where they're just like, oh, we have the guys.
Yeah.
You remember that? Where
Yeah,
they just come up
yeah.
to the boss and he's like, oh, we got him.
I do
And they're
remember,
all
yeah.
covered in blood. There's
Yeah.
a whole scene that was cut of them breaking in.
Okay, so that's weird that they left that at least something out, you know, for that. They should
It
have
is.
kept something in. Yeah, that
Because
just made
it
me
makes
think
them
like,
look...
yeah.
It makes them look less like purposeful in their killing.
Right, exactly. Like they're just psychotic and just killing to kill,
Yeah.
like, kind of thing. Yeah.
It would be interesting to see them deal with their moral code more.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because they know all these prayers, they have their rosaries, and there are things they will do. Like, and they deal with it a little bit when Rocco's like, let's go kill this guy. And he's like, no,
Right,
that's not how we
right.
do it. But then, you're right, because it's cut, they're just like, yeah, that's a real piece of shit over there. And this guy's a scumbag too. Let's just... And then Rocco's like, let me kill him. They're like, all right.
Yeah, I mean, like, who hasn't, you know, like, God, I mean, I know that my wife's going to listen to this, but it's just like, who hasn't not gone to a nudie booth, but, you know, rubbed one out, you know, or something like that's just this, you know, it's just weird to think that you would kill a guy.
And that's all you get.
Yeah.
Like, you can say, oh, that guy's a pimp, he's a real scumbag. Okay, maybe. But the other guy is like, he's a drug dealer. It's like, geez, man, yeah, but...
Yeah.
I don't know.
What kind of drug dealer? Like, what are you doing here? Like,
Yeah.
kind of thing? Yeah.
That's a weird scene, and Rocco knocks out a woman. Is that right? Doesn't he punch a woman and
Yeah.
knock her out?
Yeah. Well, no. They both pass out. So, yeah, that's a good point, because the stripper in the nudie booth and when they go to the hitman, the assassin's poker game, like, those two girls both, like, just pass out. They never hit anybody. They just pass out.
Yeah. And
But
then
he still fondles up the tits
Yes!
on the
Oh, my
stripper,
God!
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's the moral code shit. Like, if you just saw a guy fondling an unconscious woman's breast...
Why the hell wouldn't you just shoot that motherfucker
Yeah,
in the head?
if that's your thing here...
Yeah.
Like, I don't... That was a weird scene for me. The card game where we get to... I tell you what, let's skip to Billy Connolly's reveal, because I really like that.
Please, yeah.
That was great.
His
His whole, like, Il Duce, and everyone's like, yeah, let's get him, let's get him.
I love that kind of character when he's
Yes.
drowned in mysteriousness like that, and he's an older guy too,
Yes.
just like Sean Connery or somebody. That's great. I love it. Yeah.
And he's basically lives in a bird cage,
Right.
handcuffed, 24/7.
24/7, yeah. And got paroled, luckily, because the mob has some ties to the parole
big
board.
ties.
Yeah.
And he comes in, he starts shooting at him, and it's a great, I don't know, this is a fun fight scene. I like them. This is where their introduction with Funny Man should have started. He should have been begging and begging to do shit.
Right.
And then the first time he does is like, you have to go kill this guy who shot you. Or whatever. But
he just gets the shit kicked out of him, too.
yeah, and they're like, go prove yourself. It's like,
Yeah.
he's already killed so many people. I just didn't care. Like,
Right.
yeah.
Like, yeah, it just didn't seem like it fit. Like, kicking him the pool ball, the cue ball, and everything like that. And it was just... Yeah, exactly like you said. Like, I've already seen him kill people. Like, this doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah.
Like, if we would have seen him begging and begging to get in on these hits, and then he finally gets in on one, gets shot, and they're like, then they stand back, that would have been comedy gold, where, no, you got to do it yourself, man.
Yeah, because what if, like,
Yeah.
what if it's the two brothers, and they're going after, they're killing all these guys, they're doing all these things, and then they know that this gig is coming up, and they know there's trained killers, and they know there's this one weird killer. They're like, well, we need a third. It's like, who do we get?
Yeah.
And he's like, we can't just bring anybody in. And this guy's like, and Funny Man's like, yeah, me.
Yeah.
And they let him, they're like, okay. But then, like, I don't know, it just seems like, what do I care if he kills anybody or doesn't kill anybody? I don't know. It was...
Right. But no, I agree with you in the sense of Billy Connolly coming into this thing is, if there is, I would not watch a Boondock Saints 3. I mean, I would, but I wouldn't do it just like, I gotta see Boondock Saints 3.
No, me either.
Now,
I'm not there.
if I saw where they produced a movie with Billy Connolly in it and about his origins, I would be much more interested in seeing that first day than I would Boondocks 3. And, seeing and they did show a little bit in part 2, of course, but I would like to see kind of his thing, all his life up until then,
Yes.
and stuff like that. But it's just like he's great. The cigar, the outfit, and everything is impeccable. I love it.
Man.
I love it. Yeah.
It's fantastic. And they shoot. They don't realize they're shooting each other. Eventually, we'll just go ahead and skip. There's a lot we're skipping here. There's some interesting things that happen outside of the action scenes. We're just dealing with the action scenes, but so basically they go to the main boss. They get to the I guess we could consider this the boss fight.
Boss fight.
This is the scene that's cut. We don't get to see them infiltrate the house and eventually get caught. We cut to them being tortured already, basically.
Right, yeah. I mean, the first scene we get at Joe Yakametsa, I forgot what the last name is, but the first thing we get is just him in his, study, grabbing his gun, and one of his henchmen coming in and saying, hey, they're in the base, they've come in through the basement, and that's all we get of it. Like, I want to see...
Yes.
That's the fun of having, and I understand Troy Duffy, I guess, in a way of just all action, tough guys. But that's what's fun about seeing guys who don't kill usually, is seeing the awkwardness and trying to do this stuff. Yeah. And that's what's fun. Like, if me and you just decided to do this and we were successful, but there's still going to be areas where we're unsuccessful, and how do we sneak into a house? How do we do this? That's the fun
and with
stuff.
These dudes, with these two dudes, yes, it's in their blood. Yes, their father's this legendary hitman, but we don't know that.
Right.
Let's see them. All of their failures turn into accidents that make them look cool, which is great.
Right.
I'm perfectly on board with that, and it can watch it for a long time. I would just, like you said, I would love to see them try something in this break-in in which that causes them to get caught because of their inexperience.
Sure.
And so everyone gets caught. They can't get to Il Duce, Billy Connolly, that the hit is off, that he's been captured. So this guy's going to finish the contract no matter what. You can't stop him. He's one of those guys. And so now that they have him, now that they have the two brothers, it's going to happen. And now they're like, well, shit, we got to get ready.
Yeah.
And it's sort of this culmination of all the characters coming together. William H. Macy is now on these guys' sides because he likes the fact that they can do things that he can't. So he shows up in his
drag,
makes out with the guy. Takes
Is drag appropriate right now?
Drag, yeah.
Okay,
I'd say that's drag.
Okay.
You can't. I mean, you shouldn't say transvestite or anything like that. I think that's pretty offensive. But I
Gotcha.
think drag is appropriate for what William H. Macy did, and you get all the mains in one room, and it's great.
Yeah, and that's, I think at that time when, immediately when I saw the legs and everything when outside the door and this whole scene building up, it was great that I didn't need to be forced to know, I didn't need another scene of seeing William H. Macy. I didn't need another scene of seeing William Dafoe dressing up because right when I saw the legs, like, I immediately knew that was Dafoe, and I think they did a great job of that, of knowing how eccentric he was and everything, and I just knew that was him.
Yeah, and that's a combination.
Yeah.
That's hats off to Troy Duffy and
Right.
William H.
Exactly.
For making us like, oh, we know what this is. And we get not a wild and crazy gunfight, but we get a fight. Like, the fight is irrelevant, because a lot of the killing happens off camera. The brothers have been...
Are you laughing at me about taking the swig of the bottle?
You guys can't see this, but Marcus Hull just really Boondock Saints' Bushmills bottle and just fucking took a shot to the head from the bottle. Good for you, man. Damn. You're Boondock Saints ready.
I am.
You are Troy Duffy.
If you wanted to kill somebody right now, I would do it with you.
We won't edit that out either. No. So, I guess he's out of glasses. So, they escape. The funny man does get killed, gets his chest blown out to make the brothers talk and all this stuff. And
right.
Eventually, the guy who's come to kill them realizes that they are his sons because there's a family prayer only they would know.
Yeah.
That's thin, my friend.
That's the... Like, and I had a feeling that whole time. I did have a feeling. I mean, I'm probably not the only one, but I had a feeling that whole time that was their father. But it was like, it was weird that was... Right when I heard him say that's the family prayer that they told Rocco about in that scene, when they're like, you can't do that. It's just like, it didn't feel like it fits, and it was just very...
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it wasn't like this huge, like, and then he's just like, boys.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would have liked to see them come at him a little bit, and then him being like, you don't understand, I'm your father, and they're like, well, fuck you, like they always do. It all just seems to really come together like, oh, you know, okay, cool, we're family. Because they've never met their father, right?
Right, no.
Yeah.
And there's so much comedy. Billy Connolly's a comedic genius. Yes. And how much, like, you totally don't use that, like, in a gunfight and him yelling out something and just this back and forth during a gunfight with these guys. Yeah. Like, that would have been so much fun with him, and too. And it's just, the thing I think that I disliked the most about this movie was how everybody was so willing to just switch sides without any connotation about what they've been doing previously, kind of thing. And it's just like, Willem Dafoe, and it's just like, he's an FBI fucking agent. Like, I know that you have this moral code, but you're just telling yourself,
he kills someone to help them. Like, that's
right. You're telling yourself that you're going to be a fugitive from here on out. Like, why don't you think about that anymore?
And he helps them get into the courtroom for the final scene.
Right. Yeah. And even the detectives in Boston help him too. And now in part 2, they're in, and then even carrying forward, the lady is just in on this. Like, you have a career. You have a fucking career.
And then you find out that there's a secret society of people who want the boys to do. But whatever. That's for the sequel. But we cut to the final scene where the mob guy escapes because the police show up. All this stuff happens, and the brothers and the father escape. But then they show up in the courtroom. And maybe the best scene in the whole thing. Yeah. The whole movie.
Yeah.
I think the acting, I think the shooting of it, I think the intensity in which Troy Duffy creates with his direction. I think this is probably a great culminating scene, and I wish there were more scenes that made me feel like this scene did. Because this scene's great. The brothers look incredible. They look badass. They look like they know what they're doing.
Right.
Their father's there. So then you get like, oh, he's going to train these kids to be even more badass.
Right. And I will agree 100%. Like, I did love the courthouse scene. All of it. And I would say that, in my mind, going back now to watching this, I love the last scene, and I love the very first scene at the church.
There we go.
And, I mean,
that's
everything. That's all you need. But, I mean, yes, the action's fun, but the last court scene and seeing the dad, the two sons, and everybody working together and just walking in, knowing what they're doing. And I know you can't do that the whole way through, but it just, like, the directing and
Yeah.
the cinematography in it was